morning, everyone, and thanks to Nicola for inviting me on. So this topic has become really dominant in the last few months, and it's something that we're getting a lot of inquiries about. So it's great to maybe just pull together a little bit of information. You know, there's so many symptoms to the menopause now. Like back when we would have when I'd have qualified first, you know, in terms of dispensing the medication, it was either, you know, progesterone and estrogen if you had a uterus, and estrogen only if you had a hysterectomy. And it was very black and white, and that was it. You know, there wasn't any, I suppose, talk so much or sharing of information so much about all the other things that go with it and all the symptoms, not just the physical ones. So I just put up just a quick snapshot there of, you know, the mental and emotional symptoms of menopause. And I think, you know, a lot of us can relate to a lot of them at different times. And that's one of the experiences I've had with dealing with people coming in off the street. And every so often you'll pick up that someone maybe isn't quite themselves. And, you know, now in pharmacies we have consultation rooms, so you have a chance to have a quiet word. And that's where I find a lot of sharing of what's going on with people happens, you know. And women are sometimes very hard on themselves. They're kind of almost like, I don't know what's wrong with me, you know, I'm cranky and I'm this, and they're very much, you know, being very critical. I suppose it's now that there's so much talk of the menopause, now you can see that, you know, it's not just you and it's not your fault, and it's not anything to be, you know, ashamed of. You know, we're kind of very good at all the kind of you know, self-critical things, but it's kind of okay, right? This is going on for you. It's, you know, it can be part of the whole array of things that's going on. And once you know what's happening and, you know, that it can be associated with the menopause, well, then we're on a track. Let's find out what's going on. Let's find out what we can do about it. And depending on the appropriate journey for you, these things can hopefully maybe click in, and, you know, you find little resolution somewhere. The physical signs of the menopause, of which there are many, again, it's, you know, it's a long list of things that can really be, I suppose, you know, can bring you down as well, and can feed into the emotional, can make turning up for things a bit hard, you know. But again, once you know where to start and maybe engaging with the healthcare providers like your doctor, and getting on the right path, can alleviate some of these. And then there's other things like nutrition and lifestyle that can also add in and help with them. Like, for example, you know, hot flushes during the day, for sure, you know, the medical treatment will help them, but there's also little lifestyle tips that we pick up along the way, like, you know, layering clothing rather than wearing, you know, if it seems cold, putting on a big jumper, and then, you know, half an hour later you're absolutely roasting. So little things like that can make a big difference, you know. Like I come out and I prepare for all seasons in one day. That's, you know, I find my husband will say, like, my temperature or the air conditioning in the car is a complete waste on me. I'm either high heat or cold air. I don't go for the nice in the middle at all. So you know, there's a lot of there's a lot there. Some may affect you, some may not. But just to know that these are okay things to bring to your healthcare provider. These are okay things to make an appointment and to have a discussion with. They're all valid. I hear a lot of, I don't want to be bothering the doctor with that. They're busy enough, and actually there's worse off than me. And there's lots of kind of, I suppose, maybe it's the Irish woman thing sometimes can, you know, be put to the bottom of the list of things to do and people to look out for. And I suppose in my capacity, when I encounter these people, I just try to, you know, get them to understand that no, what's going on for you is very valid, and you're not wasting anyone's time by going and making the appointment with your GP. So we just try, I suppose we see it from both sides. Sometimes we're the first point of contact that maybe get someone to understand that actually what is going on, that yeah, it does come under the umbrella of menopause, and you would be advised to go and have a chat and get checked out. And then on the other side, we encounter people who have been to the GP and they've come out, and they have a prescription. And then, sometimes, while you're in a consultation, you don't necessarily think of all the things you want to ask. So it's when you come out and you have time to process and you get the prescription and we go through with you, how to use it, and how to use whatever and other things to watch out for. That maybe some of the questions that you might have forgotten to ask, that we can certainly help you where we can as well. So there is a lot of support there. There's an awful lot of support, I suppose, on the internet and that as well. And that can sometimes be very overwhelming. But even if you break it down to those three elements there, friends, family, GP, consultant, pharmacist, they're points of contact where you can come and discuss your own personal story and the various symptoms that apply to you. And, you can get advice on the various options then for treatment. So again, these were the observations. I don't know if any of them ring true for people, but these would be the typical observations, particularly in terms of menopause and mental health as well. But we're talking about menopause this evening. These are the typical phrases that I'd often hear in the consultation room, that you kind of say, well, look, you've made a step in speaking about it, so let's see where you go from here. Sometimes, they may be already on the journey and just need a little extra help with it, maybe with tiredness and fatigue, or, if they're tired and irritable all the time, maybe have a chat with the doctor. Maybe you need a little bit of help with that as well. People are always apologetic. They don't want to bother us. They don't want to bother the doctor. They're like, you're busy. Yes, everyone is busy, but people need to understand, I suppose, that they are important too. And I have a very good friend who works in a healthcare team that deals with children, and I suppose relative to mothers going through menopause, they often say that when the mother of the family is okay, the family is okay. But I suppose women and mothers often put themselves again at the bottom rung of the ladder in terms of looking after themselves. So sometimes it's just, we give a little boost that, look, you are right to go about it, and encourage them, and maybe reassure them that they sound, I suppose, things off us, and say, look, do go about it. So all those things there are kind of typical phrases that we hear. So look, from our own point of view, I know you've other speakers as well who give absolutely fantastic advice. So just from the community pharmacy, look, what we're here to do, we have expertise in medicines management. We can go through with you what your prescription involves and what you can expect from it. We work with the GP by dispensing the prescription based on their recommendation, and we can give advice on the use of the medication. We're accessible in that people do often walk in off the street, and we are sometimes the first point of contact, and again sometimes post prescription, and we can give time to discuss what's going on for a particular person, and offer some lifestyle and supplement advice where that's appropriate. So again, with menopause, like there isn't a one solution for everyone. It has to be tailored and very individual individual program for you, so we can just help talk through it and give you advice and support where that's needed as well. So I suppose that just to sum up, that was just a quote, just I suppose to highlight um, how important it is for women to take care of themselves, and sometimes the taking care is to to make that step to go and seek help about it. I didn't go into too much detail because again, there's so many individuals. Like there are a lot of medications and a lot of various preparations. So just to say that, look, the advice is there. If someone does want to kind of explore the differences and options, we can also give a bit of help with that. To becoming a lot more accessible. Like, I'll give one example. There was one product in particular. It was an estrogen cream, and for a long time it was an unlicensed medicine, which meant that the way to avail of it in this country were very limited, so it was extremely expensive. But there, in the last, I think, maybe 6 months to a year, now we have an Irish producer of it, and it has made it so cheap and accessible, and it's covered on the scheme. So even changes like that, making those products more available, we're hoping to see more and more of it.